Welcome back to Beyond the Plate with Chef Ashton Garrett. Today is my birthday and I'm making my favorite dish. Let's cook. So one of my favorite dishes that I actually learned while on a study abroad in Italy was a fish dish utilizing, I've got a little bit of orzo working right there. Quick fact about orzo, it is not a rice, it is a pasta. So it's going to go with a black pepper sage orzo pasta. I'm going to be sauteing some spinach. For the sauce, it's going to be a red tomato jus. Tomato jus. Utilizing vegetable stock, tomato paste, lemon juice, a little bit of caramelized red onion, and seared red tomato. For the main protein, I'm working with black sea bass, one of my favorite fish. It has an extremely great finish. The taste is tremendous. It can go well with a lot of different heating applications. It can go well with a lot of different heating applications as well. You usually see it whole because of how small it is. So I've got my orzo working, almost there. I'm gonna go ahead and tear some of my sage. Now, when I'm at work, I enjoy pretty plates and designing and tweezers and all that kind of fun stuff. But while I'm at home and it's my favorite dish, I kind of, just like to play around. I don't look for the finite, the small things, and just like to have fun. So, kind of make it a mess, and that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my sage. Our pan is almost hot. So I'm working with black sea bass. So let's go ahead and season it up. This is a great fish to work with. I highly enjoy it. I'm gonna season both sides with salt. And because how thin and small the fish is, it's gonna cook relatively quickly. So I'm just looking to, get a nice sear on both sides. Once my pan is nice and hot, I'm gonna take my fish from the tail end. I'm gonna lay it away from me. If I just stew it in there, I risk splashing that hot oil on me. So I'm going to lay it down and let it sear. Now, as you can see, the fish has shrunk. That's just the high heat reacting with the proteins of the fish and shrinking. So I'm not gonna check that until later. I'm gonna take the flavors from the fish and add in my onion, my tomato, and start to build a compound sauce, a jus, and work with that. Now we have a good sear on the fish. You can start to see it browning on the outside. I'm gonna check and see if it's ready to turn. It's releasing nicely, so we're gonna turn it. Beautiful. A nice good color. Now, if I had the skin on, I could do something called a score, which means you take your knife and you make an incision, usually 3 or 4, depending on how big the size of the fillet on the fish. And that does one of two things. It tenderizes the food, and it also allows the seasonings, whatever seasonings, to seep in deeper and create a heightened flavor of what you're trying to create. Okay, now that the fish is done, I'm gonna remove it. Let it rest on my pan. I'll turn my heat down. Add a little bit more oil. I'm gonna start the saute with my onion. I'm gonna cook those until they begin to caramelize and break down. Now, I love red onion. I love any type of onion. It's been one of my favorites since I can't even tell you since when, but I love it. It's just, a sweet, tangy, savory flavor. I think it complements very well with what we're trying to do, this dish. And I'm excited to see how it turns out. Now, for our orzo, it looks to be done. I'm gonna give it a quick fluff with my spoon. Okay, perfect. And we'll turn off our heat. And we'll set this to the side as well. Okay, we have a nice caramelization on our red onion. I'm going to add in tomatoes. I'm gonna give those a quick char. Last one. As you can see, this, I'm using fish, I'm using red onion, I'm using tomato, so this dish is heavily influenced, using orzo, heavily influenced from my, my experiences or my study abroad in Italy and within the Mediterranean. And I kind of fell in love with this, this food. It's very fresh, high nutritional value, and I think it comes together quite nicely. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, just to help the tomatoes extract their moisture and to bring out that flavor. Now I'm gonna go add in my spinach. Now spinach is actually better for you cooked. The high heat releases the moisture within spinach and brings out the natural vitamins and minerals. So let's go ahead and wilt that down. Okay, now that our spinach is wilted, another quick toss. We'll reserve this for later use. All right, now we're gonna work on our broth and our sauce. And first add in extra virgin olive oil now, switching it up. I just like the flavor it has when it reacts with garlic and shallots. So I'm gonna add in fair amount, probably about like a teaspoon. I love garlic as well. Let's add a little bit of shallot. Okay. So now we're gonna get a quick saute on our garlic and shallot. Just create that tremendous flavor. Now we deglaze with lemon juice. Deglaze means that I'm just lifting the bottom bits that have stuck from the fish and the vegetables off the pan. Okay? I use a high acid, like lemon juice, to bring it all together. And now we're gonna compound our flavors. Tomato juice. And a little bit of salt and pepper. And we'll bring this up to a boil. Now I'm gonna add in my bay leaf and we'll bring this up to a boil. Now as you can see, the liquid is coming up to a boil. This is very tricky though, because at this point in time, many people think that this is at a boil. But you see in the middle right here, that is not at a boil. It's still really cold in the middle, or not at the boiling point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in like a figure 8 motion, incorporating all the flavors and evenly distributing the heat to make it come up. I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomato paste, about a tablespoon. This is going to thicken our jus. We're going to turn the heat off. Just go ahead and work with our tomato paste. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of vegetable stock, kind of loosen it up just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to compound all the bay leaf into one corner, and then using my tongs, we'll get that out. We just need that for flavor. Now it's time to plate my favorite dish. So I have a kind of like a deep bowl, or something that's gonna provide a little bit of texture and contrast when I pour everything. So I'm going to first use a funnel and pour the jus into this spout. Now my first step when constructing a dish is I want to look at the angles of the plate, where I want to go. So this is my canvas, this is my white piece of paper. How am I going to build the presentation of the dish? So I'm going to add my grains, which is my orzo, right in the middle. This is the sage and black pepper orzo. Okay, about a cup, healthy grains. Then I'm going to add in the caramelized vegetables and sauteed spinach. Right on top. Next, we add our main protein, the black sea bass, right on top. And now we're going to the basin, pour the tomato jus all the way around. And that is my favorite meal on my birthday. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Beyond the Plate. Pick up a copy of my new cookbook entitled A Few of My Favorites and other exciting Beyond the Plate merchandise that are available for purchase on my website at chefashton.com. Also, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let's cook.